What's up everybody, Super WX fan here for another car review. This is of course the 2012 Honda CR-Z, and I'd like to thank Harrison Auto Sales for hooking me up with this car to review for you guys today. So, about the CR-Z, well, it's been out for a few years now. I think it's a great design. It's very plain and simple, and this is the first hybrid car that I'm reviewing on this channel. And although this is a hybrid, this doesn't rely on the electric motors too much. Its primary power source is the gasoline motor. It's a 1.5 liter motor, and then it has a small little electric motor that it uses just in different situations that I'll explain later. So for the interior of this car, it's a busy place. That's the first thing that smacked me in the face whenever I sat down here. For starters, this leather wheel is pretty nice. It's a nice small size, but it feels good in your hands. I like the steering wheel a lot. It has just, the necessary buttons on it. It's not super busy, but then you come over here and then you see, okay, this is your air controls, which is pretty straightforward. The Honda S2000 is similar in the way that's set up, but then you have all these buttons for the radio, and it just smacks you in the face. From a design standpoint, it's really busy. As far as using it every day, the ergonomics of it might be great, but it takes a little getting used to. It's not quite as natural as a traditional layout you would have in a normal car. Over here you have your few little toggles for a sport mode, a normal mode, and an econ mode, and that's all reflected up in this very busy dash. The dash is also very busy. You have lots of indicators and things telling you when it's charging and whenever it's assisting you, and the gauges are constantly changing colors, so the gauges will be green whenever you're driving in an eco-friendly manner, and then it'll go over to blue, and then it'll switch to red whenever you're driving aggressively. So everything's doing a lot. It's feeding a lot of information to you, and I mean, hybrid cars are like that. They generally want to keep you in the loop about what's going on with all the power sources and everything, and it can just be a little much. I mean, obviously you can just ignore it, but just a little busier than I'd like, personally. Otherwise, though, as far as materials are concerned in this car, you have a lot of hard plastic. I mean, all this hurts to touch. I mean, everything's hard, rough. This has little chrome bits here and there that give it a little bit more of an upscale appearance, I suppose, but the materials in this car feel like they were made for a kindergartner to beat on all the time. I mean, they're really not soft or anything. They're durable, I'm sure, but it gives it a very cheap kind of feel in here. You have some good storage space in here, though. You have, big 2 cup holders. You have this big cubby back here. You have a little cubby here, another cup holder here. And then you have little cubbies down below here. You have another little cubby up here above the radio. And then you have the whole back seat, considering that isn't an actual back seat. For these, they don't have any kind of seat. It looks like you could put a seat there, but there is no seat. No seat belts, nothing. So that is a ton of storage room back there, and that's good that there's lots back there, because the trunk doesn't really have a whole lot of room. You would think that this being a hatchback, you would have tons of room in the hatch area, but you don't. It's a very shallow area, and you can't really fit a whole lot in there. But so combined with all the other stuff in this car, it does have good storage capacities, and you can fold these back seats down so that it'll give you a more open space to store things and carry things. And as far as the seats are concerned, I haven't driven this car for too long, maybe 5 minutes so far. The seats are okay. They'll grab you decently. I'm on the smaller side, so, these seats are probably perfect for the average Joe. For me, they're just a little bit too open, but they're pretty good, though. I can't complain about the seats at all. Alright, so let's take it for a drive and see how it does. First thing you'll notice driving this car is that the clutch is very light and the shifter is very easy to use. Honda shifters have always been very light and very precise, though, and so that's something that is a huge help to the Honda. I really like that about the Hondas. Another thing you notice right off the bat with this car is that there's a very long dash in front of you, so it feels like you're driving a bigger car. I mean, this is a small car, and it feels like I'm driving something that's a lot bigger, which I don't necessarily like. So let's give it the beans here and see how it does. Acceleration isn't horrendous, but this car is pretty down on power. You have roughly 120 some horsepower from the gasoline motor, and the electric motor gives you another 8 or 10 horsepower. I don't remember the numbers exactly, but so this car has roughly 130 horsepower, and it weighs about 2,700 pounds the way this is equipped. So, you know, you're looking at a car that is lightweight. I mean, when comparing to my BRZ, again, this is similar weight. You know, the BRZ is just a tad bit heavier, but you know, this feels very light on its feet. But you know, if people are complaining that 200 horsepower isn't enough for the FRS and BRZ, they're definitely going to think this is too slow. But so far, I'm enjoying driving it. I don't think that it's like so down on power that it's unenjoyable. I think that it's a nice car. And there's a cool little almost turbo sensation, because since you have this electric power plant helping you out a little bit, you'll be going into a corner, or you'll be accelerating like I just did, and the engine won't be building revs immediately, but you'll get this extra little turbo sensation almost, and that's from the electric motor giving you a little bit of extra boost through it. And it's a pretty cool thing. I've never experienced anything like that before. Hondas are known, at least to me, for always having very sharp steering and always having great handling. And this one's no different. This one has very, very nice steering feel. I mean, I wish it was a little heavier, but for what you're dealing with here, you know, this is a small little Honda. I can forgive it for having lighter steering, but I mean, the suspension is firm, but not annoying in any way, and it just gives you a really good feel going down the road. These things always feel like they're on rails to me, and I really like the way it handles. That's probably, you know, one of the best things about this car. But it's very smooth in the way it does everything. The shifter is very smooth and easy to use. You feel very comfortable going down the road in this car. Coming up to a sharp corner here with a little water. And yeah, it's so flat. I mean, there's a tiny bit of body roll, but it's really not bad at all. It feels really good going into corners. It's very confidence-inspiring, I'd say. Let's give it another acceleration. This time I'll put it in sport mode. This car, it's not exactly quick. I think they've timed the 0 to 60 in around 10 seconds. Yes, 10 seconds, that's correct. So, like I said, this isn't a fast car. It's not even quick, but it's enough. That's the thing. It's enough to get out of its own way. It's enough to give you a thrilling, enjoyable experience. You can take this car to Redline and you're not breaking any speed limits, which I appreciate, as you've heard in many of my other videos. But I'm going to drive this car for a while longer here and get a better feel for what it's like to drive, and you know, if these electric motors and the hybrid stuff gets annoying, or if I actually like it. So I'll be back in a few. So I've been driving this car for a while now, and I've really warmed up to it. I mean, obviously this could benefit from, you know, louder exhaust system. I mean, this is basically silent, and I mean, even if you know, aren't a big fan of loud exhaust like I am, you would still appreciate a little bit more engine sound. It's just a little bit too quiet. So the big thing to report on is this sport mode. You hit that sport button, everything changes, everything improves, it makes everything better. It's probably the most effective sport button I've seen on a car that I've driven. I mean, it does so much to improve this car. All the big complaints I had about this car were fixed when I hit the sport button. You hit the sport button, the steering gets heavier, and it's just the right weight now. It's perfectly weighted. The throttle response is faster. I mean, the electric motor is more eager to kick in and give you the power that you're looking for. It makes it feel a lot peppier, and quite honestly, it's just way more enjoyable to drive. I would drive around in sport mode all the time unless I'm in standstill traffic or something. This is just really, it's so much better now with this sport mode. So about this hybrid powertrain, what do I make of it? Well, I'm not a huge fan of hybrids myself, because most of them normally take away from the driving experience. They're just trying to, you know, get rid of the engine. People are trying to use the electric motor as much as possible and be fuel thrifty and stuff. That's not what I'm about. But this hybrid system doesn't do that. This car won't actually drive on electric power alone. If you have it in the normal or the econ mode, the motor will turn off whenever you're at a standstill, you know, just to kind of conserve fuel. But I mean, there's Porsches that have start-stop technology too. So that's really the only thrifty thing that's annoying in this car is the start-stop technology. Other than that, I mean, it's just, I love the electric motor in this car. It enhances the driving experience. These Honda motors are known to not have very much torque. This one feels torquier because instead of having to downshift 3 times in order to get into the good part of the power band, that electric motor kicks in and gives you a little bit extra torque. So that's when you'll notice it the most, is whenever you're in a gear that's too high for what the car is normally doing. You know, you would normally downshift. In this, you don't have to downshift right away if you don't want. The electric motor will come in and help you. I actually didn't think I'd be saying this, but I wish that the electric motor was bigger. I wish that this car had a more exaggerated electric feel to it, because I love the electric motors helping out this gas motor. And it's interesting, this is a 2012 model. The 2013 model actually has an overboost kind of function where you can hit this button on the steering wheel apparently, and for up to 5 seconds it'll give you an extra burst of speed with the electric motors that have been upgraded for 2013. So the 2013 model is a little bit faster, and having that extra little NOS button with the electric, it's pretty cool. I'd love to drive a 2013 and try that out. Now the big question, would I take this over a 2012 Honda Civic Si? That's not so easy, because I've never driven a 2012 Honda Civic Si. I'd really like to. I've driven some of the older Civic Si's, and I've really liked those because it has the same dramatic red line, you know, VTEC rush that you've always had in those cars. And this doesn't really have too much of that VTEC sensation. It's a little more muted, but you have the electric motor instead, which I think is just as cool. Hey, what if they made an SI version of this car? I would have loved to see that 200 horsepower motor in this car with the electric motors on top of it. That would be a sweet car, and I wish even for the Civic Si they added in the electric motors, because that would have given that car a little bit of freshness, considering it's so stale at this point, and it's had 200 horsepower for the past 10 years, and it's just getting a little boring, I think, for most Civic Si enthusiasts. So I think that would be a really cool combination in the future. Sadly, I think this car is extremely underrated as far as, you know, people really didn't buy into the whole idea of this hybrid giving you extra performance. I think if this car had sold better, they probably would have made an SI version, would have, you know, continued to improve the electric motors and things like that. But I think this car just kind of turned out to be a dud for Honda, unfortunately, and that's really sad, because I think this had a lot of promise. It was a really good car, and I think, you know, if you were looking for something that's really good on gas, it's still really fun to drive, and you can't quite afford a BRZ or an FRS, or, you know, an S2000 isn't quite your thing, or a Miata, check one of these out. I mean, yeah, it's slow, but it's enough power to get you around, and you just have enough, you have just enough power to have fun. And this is, it's really, I mean, the way the handling is really, really sharp. I like the handling a lot in this car. If you're interested in one of them at all, I think if you drove it for a while, you'd be really impressed with it. I know I am. I absolutely love this car now. Really like the electric motors, and yeah, it's a fantastic car. So thanks again to Harrison Auto Sales for hooking me up with this car to drive, and let me know what you think about this car. What do you think about electric motors helping out gasoline motors? Ferrari and Porsche and McLaren, they're all picking up on this stuff with their hypercars that are giving these cars an extra edge over the standard gasoline engine. So let me know what you think in the comments, and as always, keep the suggestions coming for what kind of cars you want to see me review next time. And until next time, I'll see you later. Take care.